My coworker reported me to HR for something I didn't even do, and it almost cost me my job. But what happened after that completely flipped everything. So I work in a pretty normal environment. Nothing crazy. Everyone mostly keeps to themselves, but there's this one coworker who's always in everyone's business. You know the type, always watching, always listening, always looking for something to complain about. And for whatever reason, he seemed to have a problem with me. At first, it was small things. Weird comments, little passive-aggressive remarks. Nothing I could really report, just enough to be annoying. So I ignored it. Figured it would go away, but it didn't. If anything, it got worse. He started making comments about my work, saying I was cutting corners, hinting that I wasn't doing things properly, which wasn't true. I've always done my job right. Never had an issue, never been written up. So at this point, I could tell he was trying to build something, and then one day, it happened. I get called into HER, now, right away. That's never a good sign. So I'm sitting there, trying to figure out what this could possibly be about. And then they tell me someone reported me for unsafe behavior. My stomach dropped, because in my line of work, that's serious. That's the kind of thing that can get you fired on the spot. So I ask, what exactly did I do? And they start describing it. And as they're talking, I realize something. I wasn't even there. The time they're talking about, I was on break, not even in the area. So now I'm confused and honestly, a little angry because this isn't just a misunderstanding. Someone lied. So I ask who reported it. And of course, they won't tell me. But I already had a feeling. So I explain everything. Tell them where I was, who I was with, even said they could check cameras if they needed to, and they said they would look into it. So now I'm stuck waiting. And that was the worst part. Because I'm sitting there thinking, what if they believe him? What if I actually lose my job over something I didn't do? And the whole time, this guy is walking around like nothing happened. Like he didn't just try to get me fired. So yeah, I was stressed. But I also knew something. If he was willing to lie once, he'd probably do it again. So I started paying attention, watching what he was doing, keeping track of things. Not in a weird way, just being aware. And then, a few days later, I saw it. He was doing the exact thing he accused me of. Same situation, same unsafe behavior. Except this time, it was actually real, and I had proof. So I documented it, took note of the time, where it happened, everything. And then, I waited. Because I didn't want it to look like revenge. I wanted it to be handled the right way. So when HR finally called me back in, I was ready. They told me. They reviewed everything, checked cameras, talked to people, and they confirmed I wasn't involved. I was clear, completely. And honestly, that felt good. But then I asked them something. I said, do you want to see something interesting? And I showed them what I had. And the look on their faces said everything, because now it wasn't just a false report anymore. Now they had proof that the person who reported me was doing the exact thing he accused me of, and that changed everything. A couple days later, he was gone. No announcement, no explanation, just gone. And nobody really questioned it, because deep down, I think people already knew. And me, I kept my job. Everything went back to normal, but I'll never forget that feeling of almost losing everything because someone decided to lie. So yeah, now I'm curious. If you were in that situation, would you have done the same thing, or would you have just let it go?